Yo, welcome back, man, to Deep in the Bag podcast. And today, I got a special guest here, man. We got Cass in the building, man. How you feeling today, Cass?
Really good. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Love it. So, y'all already know how we like starting off every single time. Man, I always like to keep it simple, right to the point, and let's get right into it. So, Cass, do you remember how we met?
Yeah, we met through acting class. So I had gone to AFA like a few years ago. We go to the AFA studio, and then I decided to start going on a Sunday night like a couple years later because I took like a year hiatus.
Okay,
and then
I
came back in, and I was in your class, and I met you there.
Yes. Listen, y'all remember what I always like to tell y'all, man, is that just the high frequency energy, no matter what circumstance you put yourself in, if that is the energy you're giving off, that is the type of people you're going to attract. And literally from the day when I met Cass, I was like, oh yeah, she's different. She is different. Y'all feel me? So let's get right into it.
Stop it.
Let's get right into it. So we in LA, and a lot of y'all know, man, this podcast is for entrepreneurs, so they can talk about their grind, talk about their story. And Cass has a phenomenal one to share, and so I just want to get right into it. So where are you from?
I am from Oklahoma, from a very, very small town of like 1,400 people.
Oh, that's small.
Like in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. Yeah.
Okay, so you lived in one of them towns where like everybody know each other.
Oh, my history teacher owned the grocery store down the street, and my volleyball coach was like the youth pastor. Like it was that sort of town.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so hey, all my small town people, y'all already know you can come out here.
Shout out to Snyder.
All right, so now we in LA. Like, how'd you get here?
An interesting story actually, because I never planned to come to LA. My partner at the time was in the military and he'd gotten deployed, and I was sitting there, and I have a bachelor's degree in public relations, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do, and I know that I'm sad because I'm here alone.
Okay.
And my friend Allie, she was doing Sports Illustrated at the time. She's a model, and she came home to visit, and I was having margaritas with her mother. Just randomly, she's like, hey. I was like, I didn't know you were going to be here. She's like, it's my house. But she's like, what are you doing here? You're really talented, because I grew up singing. That's like something that I did.
Okay.
So I've kind of done an entertainment thing forever, but I had stopped, and she was like, what are you doing here? You're so talented. What are you doing? And I was like, nothing, and I don't know. And she was like, you should come to LA. Come tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So I put all my stuff in my car. Like, I was like, if I don't do this right now, I'm never going to do it. So I put all my stuff in my car, and cha-ching. Yeah, it did cost a lot of money. I'm just kidding. No, I put all my stuff in my car, and I drove out to LA, and about 3 hours outside of the city, I was like, what are you doing? You're ruining your life. What are you doing?
Yo.
But yeah, and so I like slept in her bed with her. She like shared her bedroom with me for a month or something until I could pay for my own room, and then I did, and yeah.
Hey, listen, that is the grind to get here, man. And I'm telling y'all, and that is actually a spontaneous story to like just to show you like at some point in y'all lives too, you just gotta like make a decision. Like you knew you had talent, and everyone around you is recognizing it, and in the city you was in, there's no way that environment. Do you feel like that environment could have brought out your full talent?
I don't think I ever would have discovered what I'm doing now had I been there. I think that I am talented in other areas, but I don't know that it ever would have brought out like the fiery passion that is, like you know what that feels like, and
Yes.
a lot of us know what that feels like.
Yes.
And I don't know that I ever would have discovered what that feels like. I think that I thought that I had a concept of what I wanted to do and what I loved,
Okay.
but I had no idea.
Okay.
I had no
Okay.
idea because I hadn't experienced it yet.
I love to hear that. And now, so you're an actor. And one of the things but when you came to LA, you knew you had talent, but you wasn't sure how that was going to happen. How did you fall like into acting, or like when did this become a passion? Like how did this get on your radar where you was like, I could see myself in front of that camera. I could see myself on that screen. Like what happened?
Well, I literally did fall into acting because so she at the time was dating somebody who was in AFA, and she was coming to classes occasionally.
Okay.
And she was just testing it out, and she was like, oh, I go to this acting class. You should drop in and come with me. And I was like, oh, I've never acted before. I was like, I don't know. Okay, I'll try. I'll come watch.
Yes.
I'll see what it's about.
Yes.
And so I dropped into AFA, and they happened to be filming that class. You know, they film a lot. They happened to be filming that class. Okay. Yeah, oopsies. So they happened to be filming, and I watched myself on camera for the first time ever.
Oh.
And I was like, or like, acting.
Yes, I know what you mean.
And I was like, I think I might be okay at this. I really enjoyed watching myself, and my heart was beating really fast like a weirdo. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then I was like, I think I want to try to actually do this. Like I know people here do this, and it feels like this little far off dream, but I was like, I got to try this. I got to see this through. And so I have been doing it ever since. And that was 4 years ago.
First of all, let me tell y'all, I love to hear it. I love to hear that you just, in that moment, you saw it. You saw yourself on camera. So you had to put yourself out there. You had to, and then you realize, like, this is me. Like,
yeah.
I can you started to visually see it for yourself. Okay, so now you've been an actor how long now so far?
So I would say a total of like 2.5 years, because I did it for a year, and then I stopped for a while and did it. And the reason is because me and her owned a swimsuit company at the time together.
Okay. Entrepreneur.
So whenever I came out to LA, she had this swimsuit company that she had so beautifully opened, and she used to sew her own swimsuits at her house. And then she opened a company called Bissy, and I would like be around in the apartment, and I'd kind of like insert these ideas where they didn't belong, and I was just like kind of packaging swimsuits for her.
Okay.
And then eventually she was like, I think you might be good at this. Do you want to join me? And I was like, I would love to join you. And so I did that, and COVID happened, and we were just like trying so hard to do this impossible thing, which was not only keep a company afloat during COVID, but also a startup company.
Oh, okay.
So I took time to really figure out which lane was my real passion. And I think she also was experiencing that at the time. So I had those couple of years where I was like, I really, really, really want to see this through. Like we love this company so much. And then this past year, I was like, okay, I get where I want to go with this. And she also, being a model, was like, yeah, I think it's time. I think it's time for us to do the respective things that we actually love so much.
Ooh, yeah. Yes, because so for you now we know that you made that pivot. And first of all, that is like amazing to hear that you already came out here, entrepreneur mindset, in a bathing suit business. Like you already get things going like right off the back. And then you hit an acting class. Yes, everything's happening by accident, but it's happening for you, and you putting yourself out there. Being part of that business, what were you able to take from those experiences, like just that grind and everything that you've translated over into being an actor? Like, was something that you could call out that definitely helped, like with the transition? Oh,
yeah. I mean, I am so glad that that's the way that I got started in LA, because I think people forget a lot of times that acting is a business. It's not just like this entertainment industry where if you're talented, you're just going to take off and like eventually somebody will recognize that. Like you have to put your business foot forward and recognize what these casting directors want to see you succeed. These agents want to make money. Everybody has their own respective business in this. And the goal, while it's not the thing that's going to always make you the most happy, it is everybody's goal to make money, because it is a business. So you have to recognize that, and you have to come into acting with a business forward foot. And I think whenever I did Bissy, it was like I learned the type of work ethic that it takes to make a business succeed. I learned the type of networking that you have to do to make the connections, to sell what you're doing to people, and to build a brand, and to build like a team around you. I learned all those things through doing that. Yes. And I learned it the hard way, every step of the way. Okay. Like you just, you fail and you do it a different way, and you fail and you do it a different way. And so whenever I do acting, I do it with a business mind rather than like a happy-go-lucky creative mind. And while that is still a mindset that I can have, coexisting in that space is the business mindset of everybody wants to make money, everybody has a brand, everybody has this way that they set themselves up for success, because this is a business, and you have to meet people, and you have to make community and connections, and you have to run yourself like a business. And so that helped me tremendously. Yeah.
Listen, like, y'all give it up, man. Y'all give it up, man.
All the coins.
No, for real, because a lot of times when you initially become an entrepreneur and you're chasing after what you want, people don't even recognize the work ethic that goes into it. They just, society has pushed overnight success, but you got to see just the grind that it even took to get that off the ground when it went through its highs and lows, just like how you have to be able to pivot. And I think one of the most amazing things you've done so far is you were in a business that still could have, if you maybe if you put more time in it, maybe if you put more energy to it, it could have done something differently. But you got to a point where you had a love for something else and a passion for something else, and you decided to let that go, detach from that to chase after like what you wanted. Like a lot of people struggle with that detachment, like being able to let go of something that's no longer meant for them to go forward. Like, what advice would you give about that? Like being able to detach and decide to go after your dreams and your passion, things you want to love and be.
Yeah. I think the advice that I would give about that is whenever you look back on your life, and this is something that I had to go through, I was like, what do I want to be known for? Like, I always had this fiery passion for being known as an entertainer and this person who has brought, created things that makes other people passionate? Okay. Or have I always wanted to work in the fashion industry? And while I did love being in business, I was like, if I look back on my life and I didn't run really hard toward entertainment and succeed in that, that would have made me the most sad. And so knowing what the ultimate goal was, like figure out your ultimate goal, I want to be in the entertainment industry. Now, what pieces of your life are serving you to get there, and what pieces of your life are, even if they're good things, are holding you back from that? And so I had to kind of cut the pieces that were holding me back. It's like whenever you look at something and you're like, for example, because me and Jai were talking last night, he was like, whenever you're eligible to join SAG, join immediately, because what do your goals align with? What's your ultimate goal? I'm like, I want to be a supporting lead on an HBO show. He's like, is that a non-union job? No. So join SAG. You know what I mean? Because people give you the advice to not or to do it. And he's like, you know what you want, so do the things that are going to get you what you want. And in the same respect, whenever I figured out what I wanted, I was like, okay, now I have to do the things that are going to get me what I want.
Come on, Cass. Come on, Cass.
That mattered a lot. It mattered a lot to do that.
Perfect. So far, have you been able to work on any projects yet?
I have. I'm so happy about it too. And this is why I'm happy that I came into it with the business mindset, because I was like, I'm going to network. I'm going to make connections. Because when you come into this industry green, it's not that people don't believe in your passion and believe in you. They don't trust necessarily that you know your way around the set, that you know your way around that. So I've been lucky enough to do like 3 or 4 movies now. Okay. And it's thank you. It started because I met a guy who was a director who ended up being a friend, and he was like, I trust you, I believe in you, and he put me in a movie, and then that got my leg off the ground for other people to trust me and to build a resume to get into more movies. And I was like, wow, this networking thing is really, really important. Like, really important. You have to be good at your job. Yes. But you have to also be good at people. And I've been lucky to do more projects in like the 2 years that I've been acting than I ever thought that I could have been able to do. And it's only due to the fact that like I knew that I could do it. And was just like, what steps do I need to take to get there? I know I can do it. Like what do I do first? What do I do second? What do I do third? I am getting on that set. Yes. Now, so a lot of people are going to come here, right? Wanting to become actors. Yeah. They can already hear, like, so far with your story, just the grinds that you've went through so far, the ups, the downs, the still believing in yourself, that getting connections. Like, what advice from yourself would you give to someone wanting to move to LA and become an actor? Like, if you had to give them advice on just like a foundational mindset to have, what would that be? I would say don't get discouraged, because people are so worried about themselves and their own success that you're a piece of that and you're not the main character in that necessarily. So like it's okay if they don't choose you to do the thing that you want to do, because that is their job. Yes. And that is their lane. Yes. And they only want to see the projects that they are working on succeed, and they're gonna do what's best. Truly they are. And so don't be discouraged. Okay. if you come out and you're like, I got this dream and I'm going to make it happen in X amount of years, like it's going to take its own time. And every single tiny little win and step that you have, whether it be an audition, a callback, a booking, a show, a union voucher, a whatever it is, a background job, like those are all wins. And the success will come in its own time. And I'm still waiting on my own version of success to get here.
Yes.
And then the other thing would be, make sure that you build a community. Like, this is a huge one that has helped me a lot. And I learned it from my roommates
all right.
who are in the music industry.
Yes.
They go to shows constantly. They put themselves in every single room possible. And they do it because while people don't know you whenever you get there, the more that you show up, they're going to feel like they know you. And because they're used to seeing your face everywhere. Yes. And then that's where the connections come from. So I didn't know how an actor networks. I was like, we don't have shows to go to. We don't have that. Casting director workshops, panels, film festivals, go to somebody's birthday party, go to like literally whatever room you can get into, make people recognize you, add people on Instagram, add people. You have to be somebody that nobody can ignore. Ooh. Like whenever they look through their social media, whenever they go to a place and they see you like multiple times all the time, they're either going to think that they know you, they're going to want to know you, or they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I think I've met her and I don't remember her name. I feel bad. Like, you know what I mean? But you have to make yourself recognizable, and you have to make yourself somebody that people want to approach. And you do that by being somebody that everybody knows. Like if this and that and the other person knows you, then by default, people are going to be like, wow, she knows a lot of people. Why does she know a lot of people? That's interesting. And then just put yourself in every situation possible to succeed. And people will start to recognize you. People will start to know who you are. And then that's where you build connection, community, relationships, and industry professionals will begin to trust you. And I think that's my business brain is like, that's a huge piece of this industry that a lot of people forget to do.
First of all, let me cast you out for that. Look, listen, hold on, because Cass, I think that was some phenomenal advice, and that was like full context for y'all. You know what I mean? That wasn't even just like, that was to really help you be successful out here, because like, I guess it goes without saying, you're not going to win in the comfort zone.
Yeah. Like, you have to take very specific steps, and there is a formula to success. Yes. I think a lot of people forget that sometimes it's because you get lucky. Mm-hmm. It can be. That's not true. But a lot of times there is just this very specific formula. And if you do it hard enough for long enough, you'll win. And there's no way you won't unless you just genuinely, this wasn't meant for you.
Yes. Yes, I love that. Okay, so Cass, to pivot us next, what's next for you? Like, what, you can go as far as you want. You can keep it as close as you want. Like, what's just next for you? What do you envision for yourself? What is something you may want to accomplish next year? Like, what is what's on your mind?
I like this question because I've spent the last couple of days, and I will be spending today, setting my goals for the year like I do every year.
Okay, so we getting it ahead of time.
P.S. on that, do not do the New Year's resolution thing, because whenever you go into January 1st, you shouldn't be 365% better. You should be 1% better every day. Like, don't do that.
Yes.
But also, I don't even remember the original question. Where was I going? Hello?
What's next for you?
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yes. So on setting all the goals that I was doing for this next year, next for me is I have 2 major movie goals, and I want to be in a horror film, and I want to be in a period piece.
Okay.
I want to get a manager who trusts me so much and that we're just like, together. Like, have you ever seen the show Entourage? I'm watching it right now. They fight for each other so hard, and I want a team like that. So that's another goal. Build a team around me who does the whole that situation, because that's awesome. And then also, I am taking a very independent journey right now in my life, and I just want to be a self-sustained working actor, and that's kind of cliche, but I do have really specific goals to get there. So I'm already shortlisted for a horror film this year. I knock on all the things because
no, we're casting you out.
Because I don't know if I got that job or not, but man, I really hope that I did, because I've been manifesting that horror film for this past year.
Well, we all manifested it for you too.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Look, and first of all, I personally think those goals are great. And as you all see that, like, it's your own journey. It's your own goals. It's whatever you see for yourself. And I think another big part of that is like making sure, when you just said like you want to have a manager that supports you and fights for you. And it's the same thing I'm presuming that you want with your community. Like, in them to also recognize like that So another big thing I want people to take away from what Cass has shared is that like you're gonna have wins along the way. But if you're not around people that understand, this is where you come down to that community, like what those wins mean to you, then it's hard for you to even support this person or be a part of their team. And so just recognizing that full circle of everything and how it's gonna work and just all the advice you shared and all that, like it really definitely will just change how your whole entire life could go here in LA.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and it's okay if people don't get it. It's totally okay. I think a lot of people are, we were talking about this earlier, you have people in your life who they only have the tools to cheer you on as much as they can and as much as they know how. And that's okay. Like it's okay. I was telling him earlier, like if a farmer has a really good crop season, like one of my farmer friends back home, they have a really good wheat season and they make all this money. And I know that they made money and I know that they had a really good wheat season, but I don't know the 12 hours to 15 hours a day that they put in servicing those crops and doing physical labor and doing all the chemistry that it takes to keep those alive for all of the different wheat variety. Like I don't know that stuff. So I don't have the tools to be as happy for them as they will be for each other. And they are not going to fault me for that. That's okay. And like same thing in your life and everybody else's life. The people around you have the tools to support you as much as they can. And it's not to be taken personally and it's okay. And your opinion matters the most.
Agree 100%. So keep believing in yourselves and recognize that everybody's on their own journey. And Cass, oh my gracious, I'm so inspired even more now by your journey and where you're going to go. Like, is there any so you got to give a final note before we head out. What is something that you're taking with you that you've learned from 2022 that's like just been top of mind that you just definitely want to make sure that you take into your life going forward?
So I think 2022 was like a huge foundation building moment for me. And I know that in this industry, a lot of times we get all caught up in like, what is my version of success and how do I get there? And like, what are the steps that I can take? But one day we're going to look back and we're going to be like, I miss the days with that small apartment and my friends like high-fiving each other for the wins on their audition and that thing that I booked that was so small, but it was such a big win for me. And we're going to be like, wow, I really, really miss that. And those were like the best times in the world. Those were like the best times of my life. And I just, in the next year, I don't ever want to forget to focus on the journey because every single step that we take is like a small version of our success. And it's so fun. And the journey is so wonderful. And I just never in my entire life want to forget to stop and take time to look around me and go, gosh, I'm so lucky. This is so great. I love everything that I get to do. And I'm so lucky that I get to do it, that I'm one of the people that gets to do this all the time.
First of all, we appreciate you. And I think that is such an amazing mantra to go into next year, just being present with yourself and just all your goals and all your achievements and just recognizing it, like just be proud of yourself along the way, just instead of being so fixated on the results of how it all turns out.
Really enjoy it. Like just really enjoy every single day of your life.
I 100% agree. And with that, Cass, I am so happy to have had you on here today, man. So happy that you were able to share your journey. You have definitely, I already know, have inspired a lot of people, including myself, to just keep going after what we're going after, staying present in the moment. And so I definitely thank you.
No, thank you. And I think, I don't know if you know this, you probably do, you probably don't, I don't know. But I just think you're so wonderful and you're so kind, and the energy that you always put into people every single day and the kindness that you show people and the way that you show up for people is like unmatched. And I hope that you know that, and I hope that you know how wonderful you are, because you really, really are great. And I just thank you so much for having me come do this. Like, I really, really valued the time today with you.
First of all, y'all already know we cashing that one out. And secondly, yes, I appreciate you. And it definitely is a lot of work on my end to make sure that I'm not only taking care of me, but providing that safe energy and space for other people.
Yes.
And I'm happy I'm
and
doing
you do
a
it
great
so
job.
Well.
Yes.
You do it so well.
Perfect. Well, hey, y'all, that's it for today. Look forward to our next episode. And Cass, her Instagram will be at the bottom. Make sure you follow her. Make sure you check her out. And with that, we out.